if you get the
Hello,
hyper
hello.
out
Sí.
to be able to just zone away the Abraham's attackers, but again, they are investing 4 players in taking down that tower, and they are denied.
Yeah, Sonny's actually not here. He's just being left alone in the left lane and continue to farm up as the hook connects once again. Able to catch out Saint another time, but he's still going to be relatively fine here as the counter pressure's coming on through, and this Guardian's going to fall
Sí,
as
sí se
well.
escucha.
So Leviathan will
Ah,
take
pero
down their
yo lo
second Guardian
estoy
game here in just a
viendo.
few moments.
No. Ah, es que se escuchaba el triple. ¿Cómo le hacemos entonces? Sí, sí se escucha. Ah, pero yo lo estoy viendo. No. No, es que tiene que escucharse, pero yo lo tengo que escuchar también.
Effective as they looked for a gank onto the right side. This team of
Ah, sí, es que lo tengo abierto aquí también. Sí, ahí está.
Are they going to try to take down Saint? Pretty hard to look down the Ivy. And so they're going to pull away from that right side lane, Leviathan, it seems, Jason.
For now, let's see if they continue to do so, because we hit the 8-minute mark. So Sinner's going to be up across the board, and you can already see the contest coming out of overseas to force out together, trying to take away and deny the double Sinner's room, or as we used to call it, pudding. All the people who are fans of Night Shift way back then know exactly what I'm talking about. And we'll actually punish overseas for doing that. So good job by Abraham to actually flex out in a very important moment to keep those Sinners alive, because we've seen quite a few games in these last weeks where the golden statue buffs were just the difference between teams was outstanding. Outstanding, that's not even the right word. It was devastating. It depends, I guess, on which way you're looking at it. So good, at least stop by Abraham's there to prevent that from happening, that snowball.
The macro from Abraham's here has been really, really powerful. Like, they were stealing the doubles when Leviathan were trying to push the right lane. That forced Leviathan to go back to try to defend the doubles. And now the Leviathan have lost all momentum that they got from that early mid counter push, because that Abrahams have sort of just outnumbered them in the right places across the map in mid and in this right side lane now. And they've been the ones, Abrahams, to take down their right side Guardians. So they've completely turned the tables here on the Leviathan side. So Leviathan will have to try to find some way back into this game, because right now it feels like the map is under the control of Abrahams.
Well, I believe with the way that Leviathan are using McGinnis within the hands of Sonya, it's going to be more of like a carry McGinnis than kind of like the rotate, take early Guardians and kind of be somewhat supporty. Because obviously with the Page on the team, why wouldn't McGinnis play support? So it's still going to be like that secondary M1 hero out of Mirage, played by Empty Dreams, and Sonya to be I would imagine, the main M1 hero here, as it's been constantly farmed this left-hand lane. 9.1k souls. Only OEC's matches him currently. He's been able to maintain this left lane extremely strong. We gotta give him a little bit of time, though, and he's gonna be a very strong presence later on this game, that if you're in the front lines against him, he is just gonna melt you. Not himself. He's gonna melt you.
Well, right now, you know, it looks like it might be a free zone turn in for Abrahams. That's going to be carried across by Together on this Billy. Really important. Again, with all the Billy I've been playing, I feel like you're really hungry for those zones a lot of the time. Billy's a pretty, efficient jungle farmer. It's nice to get him into a spot where he's going to be strong in the souls. Another pressure coming into this right side Walker. Good catch coming in from Taz. Wow, no chance to escape.
Great job baiting the riposte. Just seeing it the lasso off with no problem. Really shows mastery out of Holiday here at a task. As he comes back in once again here, looking for some more players. And it's going to be Together.
Oh, sí, sí lo quita.
Back him up. Looks like they actually will just be defended and pushed back away from this Walker. And really, there's no chance they're going to be going for a kill there. But here we go, Sonya now. Look at the damage he's able to do. Walls off. Stoneform's going to be there. But he's already done a ton of damage here to Saint, and he's not really too afraid of this 1v2. He does have a little bit of backup out of the Guardian to help keep himself extra healthy here and to force them away. But like, look at the damage he's already able to do. He's got Bullet Lifesteal, weakening headshots on top of this, and monster rounds, and intensifying. I just don't really feel like you're going to shove him out of this lane.
They're going to be diving on top of it, though, and largely staying out of line of sight. Here we go, finally. Looking to try to use all that farm to advantage. Strongest player on the server. And, okay, we're going to be getting an ultimate there from Apollo. Abrahams will back away from that fight. In the meantime, they'll be diving on top of that right side Walker. Oh, good catch there at the last second from the chain gang. That will surely seal the fate. Surely seal the fate. You're going to dive for it, and there we go. It's going to happen. Kill confirmed onto overseas via Together. He's gonna is he gonna pay? I don't know if he's gonna pay a price. He's still alive. Escaping into the basement to sewers.
Oh, oh, he got caught.
Oh my god,
sure
a
he's
bit
dead, right?
lifesteal because of the three there as well. The blasted. Oh man, and that was off of the slam. God, I kept forgetting all the names.
The bash down.
There you go, bash down. Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm having a tough time today as well for some reason. But Son is not having too tough of a time here. They able to consistently force them back. He's actually rotated on towards the right-hand lane. So finally, they freed him up out of the left-hand side, taking him out of the left lane jail, and unleashed him onto the right lane with the unstable rift to take down the last guardian of the game here for Abrahams to defend. I mean, you start looking at, I think, OC's in particular. Arzo obviously is going to be out of the game for quite a while. He needs to, get some solo farm here. But OC's been really a diamond for this team so far at 12k souls. It's really putting out a lot of pressure and a lot of damage. But I just don't think OC's matches up well against Sonya. Like, I think Sonya's just going to overwhelm him in damage and sustain if they ever get into 1v1. Yeah, maybe OC's can escape because it's Lash, but I don't really feel like you're going to have a chance to kill him 1v1.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic play out. I wonder what happened to Irizumi, because Irizumi has been very far behind on the overall farm. And yes, playing the Page, playing more of a supportive role in the team, but at the same time, just like really kind of further behind than you would actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think just your abilities are so important as Page. I actually want to see what items Irizumi has picked up, as a Death Sent's going to net them a kill, and probably not a kill in the Demoff here. A little bit too much to ask for when he has the security of his walker. But the left lane, the skirmish in the jungle. We talked about Irizumi is being pushed back by Saint. Narzo's rotating on in, and honestly, Leviathan might have gotten a little bit too deep here. But they're still looking for Saint somehow. He's low HP, gonna airdrop himself away though.
I will say, one thing about Page, has always been the case, is that Page is like squishy and her mobility kind of sucks. And when you're playing against, a Drifter, an Ivy, a Billy, a Holiday, a Lash, like, everyone can chase you down. Oh my god. Stuck in the corner. We're seeing the full potential of the Bebop McGinnis combo now. And we're going to get also the plot armor to come in to try to finish this one off. Surely this is going to get confirmed. Oh my god. Able to get away just barely with the heal. Unbelievable there.
Oh.
In comes the Stampede. And finally, Demov is able to finish it off with the chase.
And the rallying charge coming on through to give info exactly where Together is going to be. Not going to escape this time like he did before on the other side of the map. Now with Sonya, are they actually going to push this one? They do have a wave coming on through. They have to be careful. There's too much waves on the other side. They're going to have to give this one up here as the next Urn has spawned on in here on the right-hand side of the map, and it is able to be taken by Abrahams if they want to go for it. But Together, as you mentioned, typically the one to carry the Urn across, and he has been sent back to spawn. It's a little bit of a lull in action here, but we do have to take stock of things as we do have a 7,000 lead for Abrahams. And we talked before, Dan, about Leviathan. They have a good comp for being strong early. But being down 6k at this point, did they create the lead in the beginning that they needed to? I'm not so sure. I mean, yeah, Sonya has 16,000 souls, but the rest of his team is quite poor.
Yeah, Abrahams are just... Interestingly, Leviathan got out macroed pretty quickly by Abrahams. We'll talk more about that perhaps in a bit. We do have the pressure here from Abrahams on this left side lane. At the same time, they're pressuring the right side lane as well, so forcing Leviathan to defend here. And... I mean, McGinnis definitely good at defending. There is some damage being put down onto Demov from up high. And we'll get the escape here, showing one just fantastic...
A mid, güey.
There's a drop there for...
Bueno, tienen que defenderlo, pero...
The drop ship from StarCraft.
Yeah, that is very true. I do worry, though. Disarming Hex and Rusted Barrels.
Sí, es que no mames, tienen muchas cargas en esta mierda.
Easy way to shut down Sonya. So Dispel Magic needs to come online to cleanse those away so we can continue to pump out damage. Because if you just like cycle any sort of anti-shooting mechanism against them, McGinnis really won't do that much damage. It's not like you have abilities to back up on to do damage with. At least too much damage, like for instance Lash on the other side.
Yeah, and an interesting spot here for Abrahams. Maybe getting a little bit too deep. Sandy Sniper on the other end of things. Should be able to finish off Freemark. He does go down on the Drifter. So a trade though, given that 70 Dreams will die for Leviathan at the same time, and Demov now putting the pressure onto Taz. Taz has been having his way with pretty much everybody. Looks like Demov will regret that one, as this right side Walker is still under pressure, and the numbers game here is not very good. This is a big problem right now for Leviathan. Captain is I mean, you're tanky on the Abrahams, but it's a pretty scary situation. It looks like he's going to be able to intimidate them. They will fall back, but in the meantime, together just really being able to run down the server and
Valió verga el Leviathan. Leviathan.
19k, 18k, these guys are really, really strong right now.
So you traded a winning lane for Leviathan left side, and you gave over a winning lane to OCs on the right-hand side, and it comes down to what impact is going to be had from that. Can we actually maybe get a look at our damage per souls, or per 1k souls? I'm curious to see the breakdown here. I would imagine together is going to be quite high. The last time we looked at player damage, it was pretty equal here. And Overseas is actually currently at 1k. I mean, kind of makes sense. He's only at 12,000 souls, one of the lowest earners of his team at the moment. Saint, quite surprised, only at 300, and I feel like he's been mostly playing, babysitting duty for Arzo for the most part, just to catch him back up in this game.
They go top 3 for together, and then you have Taz on number 2, despite being one of the richest players on the server. That just really goes to show how impactful Taz has been. And speak of the devil, he shall appear, just abducting.
No mames, güey.
It's just, there's no way to get out of that one. Even with the tornado, you can't escape it. Holiday, I feel like, very, very strong. Maybe undervalued a little bit here and there over the last few weeks, but still being proven by Taz here to be just a premium pick, a top 3 pick actually in the draft for Abrahams.
Yeah, that Veil Walker's putting in some work too. Didn't even see that coming for Empty Dreams. He gets caught out. And now they're just trying to run away. It's, I mean, 2 players running away pretty much just from Sonya alone. And together, well, he's going to take down a Walker here in the mid lane. And the first Walker of the game gets airdropped away as well. And yeah, this has been Saint's job, and maybe why he does have such low damage. He's just babysitting everyone on the team. You're in a bad place, I'll airdrop you out. You need some assistance, I'll give you the Watcher's Covenant, like, or the Kutsu Connection. Like, I'll support you, and he's really living up to that role for the team at the moment that they need.
And speaking of which, we've also got OCs now looking to get that pressure on the Walker, and the problem now is that even though the soul differential is not too high, it's like this mobility that allows this pressure game to be so good. Speaking of which, Sonya Sniper applies the pressure to the life drain here. Oh, this could really convert though, because you get the confidence after the ultimate from the Geist there, but now you're in trouble. Also will look to escape here. Is there a way to catch this kill? That would be really, really nice. Counterplay coming on top of Irizumi there, trying to be able to escape off of this page. So pitiful, the mobility on page, but manages to get out of that spot. A bother.
Yeah, and then they did get the kill on the free mock, and we're looking for more here. As Sonya got extremely low with the swap. And it wasn't low enough, and it kind of just turned into ours. They're just trying to escape. But again, I feel like losing 1 player and escaping is still extremely important for them. The Urn spawns on that side of the map anyways, so they have that to use. Still only sitting on a 9k lead, but again, I still feel like that's a favorable lead at the moment, considering I feel like Leviathan in the next maybe even less than 5 minutes are going to start to fall off, because most of the fight that's been happening here, Dan, has just been grouping out of Abrahams. They're not really allowing themselves to get picked. If anything, it's actually Leviathan are the ones getting picked.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the tools here for Abrahams really, really good, and I mean, I think a large part of it is just the cross-map pressure that we've had from Abrahams. They've been working the macro game so incredibly well. Big pressure on the left side of the map. Speaking of macro, from Leviathan onto that left side Walker. This is being answered though by several players here for Abrahams. I don't know how well this is going for Abrahams on the defense though. Looks like you're seeing the power of McGinnis finally looking to convert onto this Walker.
El Miras está solísimo.
Reinforced by another player, but at the same time, they may lose Leviathan, their Walker on the right side, because there are a couple players there that are chasing down Empty Dreams at the moment. As we continue to see the action here, the counter push from Abrahams on this left side. There's a lot of players invested for Leviathan, and they are losing them here, Jason.
Se moría.
Big focus on Asanya, and that was the response you asked, Ken. Abraham,
Y ahí vienen
but the push
a
comes
rotar.
in, Eternal Knight out of free mock into the airdrop to just shove him straight into Sonya Sniper's face, blows him up immediately, and that opens up a mid-boss take here for Abrahams as well. No time to shut this one down, or at least to prevent this from happening. So Abraham's going to get a massive lead off this, not to mention a 20k lead here. And just the flick of a switch. It was just that one fight that happened here on this left-hand side that gave him complete control of this game so far.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, this game, I mean, the standouts to me have certainly been Taz, number 1, and then OC's number 2 from Abrahams, just doing an incredible job with these high mobility heroes. And now with the rejuice in tow as well, you don't, it's hard to imagine how Leviathan can kind of turn this game around. I think you said in the draft that you liked Abrahams for the late game, so they just have to make it there. Well, you could maybe argue that they didn't come out ahead in the early game, didn't come out too far behind, but they certainly came out ahead in the mid game here, looking dominant Abrahams.
endgame now. I feel like with the way Abrahams are playing, just constantly getting catches, even potential another one here with a nice use of the rescue beam to pull Empty Dreams away. But it doesn't seem to matter. TaS goes in deep, gets Phantom Struck and charged into the wall. It seems like he hit a parry here to turn things around on the captain, but they continue to go for the chase. There's still 3 reaches left, so taking crystals would be huge, but the right hand side is being pushed. They're gonna lose another walker for this, and if they can't chase anyone Abrahams down, it's a net negative for Leviathan.
Yeah, there's been such an imbalance in terms of Leviathan, let's say, have been much more efficient in the numbers that they use around the map. So if they're going to pressure a lane, the response has to be greater than what is invested by Abrahams for the pressure. So it's just a fundamentally efficient trades on map pressure constantly the entire game from Abrahams. And I think that's been what's been so impressive, I think, because now obviously that's going to be the case because they're so far ahead. But they were doing this when you know, again, they'd come out of being slightly behind in the early game. They were making those trades happen, and that's how they got to this position. So I almost wouldn't even say it's got an enormous amount to do with the drafts, Jason. I think we're just seeing something that we credit Abrahams for a lot is just their game smarts, their team play on the macro picture of the game, just knowing how to get the edges there.
There's still a difference. I mean, we can see it was bouncing back and forth between the two in the first, let's see, half, I'd say like first 10-ish minutes, maybe just slightly under 10 minutes of the game. And then just explosive lead was taken out of Abrahams, and they're showing no signs of stopping here. I mean, OCs continue to get more and more fed. Sonya is kind of still being shut down here. I mean, look what he's doing against Together. Pretty much nothing, because Metalskin's been bought up. He gets thrown back into the mix here. And Sonya somehow is still alive as they're just continuing to fight under this walker. It might cost him a rejuve, though. Together needs to go down. So it's 30 seconds left on the rejuve charges remaining. Speaking of going down, Sonya quickly falls. Captain just charges his way to safety. And this is going to be another walker falling.
Yeah, not looking good. Not looking good here at all. Abraham's running over this objective with ease. Overwhelming things. I mean, there's somewhat of a push from Empty Dreams on the right side of the map. Looks pretty free. I will see how far he can get actually with that. I would imagine there's some boosts, zip boosts available for Abrahams, and if not, can Empty Dreams kill this walker quickly enough? I mean, this is really the only counterplay that they have here. You're actually happy to die for this, if it's even possible to get it. I don't know that it's going to be possible here. Oh, actually, I mean, with the Jin's Mark, actually, we could get a big pop there. Might be doable, but you're certainly going to be trading your life for this one. But you're going to lose some base Guardians on the other side of the map at the same time. And TP activated, so actually gets out.
Yeah, but that's...
Mierda.
Take the walker, but you lost 2 walkers for yourselves. You lost more and more of a, or you become in more and more of a soul deficit. I mean, you're 31k now between the two, when it was around 25k when the mid boss was taken. I mean, don't get me wrong, he gets something, which is very, very important for them. It unlocks a flex slot as well, but your team is falling further behind right now, and that's kind of the problem. I mean, oh my god, even Spirit Burn being picked up for TaS. I would not be surprised right now if TaS has the most damage in the game.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I would imagine that's probably a good call. And yeah, just been running the show right now. Not too much for Leviathan to really do at this point. Again, I mean, oh, go ahead.
I will say that like Holiday does fall off a little bit in terms of like your pick potential, because like again, the enemy team is going to be grouped up, but the raw damage you do, I feel like just doesn't really fall off too much, especially if you're picking up things like Spirit Burn, and he's still able to get catches. This time an Irazumi. I mean, look where the position on the map is of these teams. Like, Leviathan is actually in enemy territory, and the Abrahams are going to let them take this rift and then go for the big fight off the back of this. This is Leviathan being sent home. This should be Shrines coming through.
Yeah, certainly. There's the chain gang coming on through here from Together, trying to be a problem. Or actually was going to deny some of that, but is it going to matter? We're going to get the bash downs coming on forwards, and it is looking quite painful here. Just an immovable object charging your way. And that's going to open things up here on this left lane to start marching into the base here. Empty Dreams, the double tornado, still going to get death slammed. You can't escape. Oh, okay, maybe able to get a counter spell. That must have been to block the death slam, but the end result is the same. Death and more death here for Leviathan, as Demov is the only player left standing. Can't do anything about losing probably either of these shrines. We're going to get a drop, just like you said, on the patron as well.
I mean, you see how they're dealing with Sonya. together gets in his face. They have disarming hex for him. They have metal skins to deal with him. Together's job, it feels like, is to just stay in his face and not allow him to sit in the back, acting as a human turret, putting out
Pobre, no le salió la jugada de
like the carrying potential
elegir
out of
Page.
McGinnis. Like they dealt with the ace up the sleeve for Leviathan. And Leviathan have no
Es que
answer
mucho
for him. I mean,
pick,
G-Love is
güey,
just
o
not
sea,
affected. He's at 22,000 souls. He's the lowest on the team. Well, he's not technically not lowest, but like him and Overseas are extremely low on souls. What is a 23k Apollo supposed to do against a 34k Holiday or a 36k Lash? And you can see
el Lash arma, solo porque va arma, pero aún así, demasiada utilidad.
Yeah, for me, again, I feel like we saw such a great performance from the team from a macro point of view, but if I'm thinking about the individuals, I've really felt like Taz was so difficult.
Unstoppable para la ulti.
Maximizing this lasso, that's probably the only one that's been missed. I feel like.
Vete a la mierda.
Kills Empty Dreams with just one barrel. Like Spirit Burn proccing plus the barrel. Empty Dreams was dropped below half HP.
Yeah, I can't even take part in the fight anymore. Complete map dominance at the moment here for the Abraham side. Maybe Boss must surely be spawning soon. Oh wow.
Counterspelled the Phantom Strike.
The presence of mind to pop the parry as he's
En cuanto lo vio.
defense there. Is that still a fence? It looks like a fence. I don't know, like those tall metal pointy ones. Are they still fences?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe in England you have a different name for them. I think we just call them fences.
A ver, el Apolo ya se les acabó. El Vivo está muy bajo en almas. La Magini no va a ser una mierda. Mirage, tal vez, pero...
They are throwing everything on Sonya. Cursed Relic into a disarm. Metal Skin was up for it together. Sonya doesn't have mobility. He doesn't have a way to escape this, and he cannot run away from the entire squad coming his way. He can't do anything. They're completely counterbot him, and he has no chance to do damage in these fights. And another last second attack here at a task.
Yeah, M-Streams can't do a single thing. Okay, everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. Looks like we're going to be out of this one now very shortly as Abrahams just take down the right side shrine. I don't think there's really much of a reason for them to leave the base unless they would want to go back to mid-boss and then come back and finish the game. Or just finish the game, you know, just they have both options available to them. Because look how long everybody's dead.
Qué vergüenza, güey, el Drifter.
They're going to do both, I think, here. They're going to get the drop and the regies at the same time here, Jason.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a best of one, right? You don't want to throw this away. You don't want to throw your chance to play against Buff Enjoyers to win your chunk of the $4,000 prize pool brought to us by Intel Gamer Days. And of course, Curry's here. Been great to have them along so far, and hope to see them again in the future. I mean, I'm acting like it's done, but we have 4 weeks of this.
Yeah. I do love, by the way, that the troopers got left to having the glory. They didn't have any hero assist there. It's just the troopers that took down this first stage patron. You gotta empower the little troopers.
Más almas. O sea, ya pueden terminar el juego.
Yeah, you gotta give them a win once in a while.
Pero...
working hard out there. Man, they're just taking everything on the map, Jason. We'll get all the buffs, we'll get the urn, we'll get, push all the lanes.
Sí, es que a mí es obvio que
Special star here. Gets a catch on to Sonya, or not Sonya, on to Tass. Even knockdown being thrown on him, but again, he's not too worried. Goes back in, and once again, OCs takes down Sonya again. Their biggest carry for the team has no chance to survive these fights, and Death Slam's coming up in just 10 seconds of time. Well, the Archmother has just one phase left. Like, this is going to be the game done, and Abrahams will get their birth once again. They will lose one reju. It's Fremont. He's allowed. But it doesn't matter, because they've won the game here. It's over, Dan.
Yeah, they're trying to dive in to make sure that it'll take a few more seconds longer, but there we go. Death Slam ready, off the rip, and goodbye.
Pobre P.
Oh, Porter is had a fun game here, but for Abrahams, it's been an absolute clinic of
nah.
The individual play was fantastic as well.
Mucho pick. Abrams es una mierda por el movimiento.
What is now going to be the upcoming Buff Enjoyers.
Literalmente fue un 5 contra 6.
How are they going to adapt? He played really well on Lash. He also had a sub in Fremont instead of Shark, who couldn't play today, and he played well on top of that. Team looks good. Team looks ready, but I still have to say whole another level compared to Leviathan of what we've been seeing these last weeks.
Kurish,
especially
shout
when they're able
out,
to field their
Kurish.
entire squad. So the battle might be done, but the war's not over here for Abrahams.
Yeah, certainly not, and it's going to be really fun to see them.
Easy
in
game,
the shape
also
against,
say. Easy
against their
game.
opponents, Buff and Joyce, because Otis on the team, I mean, we had a great performance from him here on Lash, and that's something that's interesting, right? Because we saw that Sanya Sniper, who was replaced, I suppose, with OCs. One of the things that Sanya flexed onto so effectively was a Lash away from some of these more hardcore M1 carries, and OCs puts on an incredible showing here on Lash throughout this game. Again, such a, I think, an honorable mention.
Cagada de juego.
Both doing similar jobs, being really, really mobile across the map and finding amazing picks, great pressure, and just enabling the initiations for their team to get ahead. And I think it really
Que se te vaya uno HP. Bueno, o sea, lo matan, pero
at once for Leviathan to deal with, and I think that's some of that mobility diff that was so effectively applied by the likes of OCs and Taz especially, and Sane. I think Sane, you know, honorary mention there with all of the drops that he was using, because that fast repositioning makes a big difference.
Playing that babysitter role. I mean, yeah, it worked out. As you're saying, you also picked up disarming hex to shut down Sanya relatively early, and I think that's maybe the difference when it comes into later stages of the game. That a Lash, I feel like, will just kind of outperform a McGinnis. Like, Lash has mobility to get away. He doesn't need to continue to M1 you to do damage. He has ground strike for this. He has Flog. He has his Deathline to set up fights. And as we saw multiple times for Sanya, if it wasn't being shut down by like abilities, right, like disarming hex or cursed relic or whatever it might be, he was being shut down by just the overwhelming presence of Abrahams and getting in his face. He had no escape. He has no protection. He has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and has a chain gang to just pull him out of position every time.
Yeah, what a phenomenal sequence here from OCs as well on the Lash. Just, I think, like, just as you were saying, you know, the Lash versus the McGinnis comparison, I think you're just really seeing why Lash has been so difficult to deal with. Just the consistent damage output and the presence of sort of this like gun hybrid Lash that's been really effective. Again, OCs is really embodying that and showing us why it's so good. And I'm really curious, like, how will that affect the drafting phase going into our final matchup? But here we can take a look now at the statistics. Sometimes the game doesn't give us the data, I guess, that we need.
12,000 page, 14 Abrams, 18 Apollo.
Anything that you're liking?
Sí, pues sin Abrams y sin Page eran 4-6.
The API is just busy looking at the great deals for the Intel Gamer Days. That's probably why they haven't given us the data that we need to formulate our own graphic here. But I mean, 45,000 damage for TAS. That's ridiculous. He had 0 deaths. OC's had 0 deaths as well. They played so stupendously together, and there were constant threats. If it wasn't a Lasso you had to worry about, it was a Deathslam you had to worry about. And even together, kind of the unsung hero, I'd say, for the team, because he went 5-2 and 22. But he was just always there. Like, he was always assisting. He was being the front line and itemizing the way they needed to shut down Sana. He had a disarming hex. He had metal skin. Saint had disarming hex. They had 2 cursed relics as well. Like, they had a game plan and they executed perfectly. They knew exactly what Leviathan were trying to do and gave Sanya no chance to play.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the stats page, I mean, it definitely did not look like a fun game, but it seems like such a truly miserable game now, looking at the stats page. The fact that both OCs and Taz did not die is insane when you consider how active they were in getting. I mean, they were the 2 most active players in terms of finding these picks and initiations for the most part. So, phenomenal performance indeed. I don't know that there's anything necessarily else to talk about. We did mention that we wanted to see the build from Irizumi. It just kind of looks like the, you know, bog standard, support build overall. So nothing. I don't think there's anything that really stand out there at all.
Yeah, I agree. And looking over at Sanya as well, because we've seen a couple of different McGinnises being built over the course of the last weeks when McGinnis had to rise to the ranks. I mean, Bullet Lifesteal, Fleetfoot, of course, is really good. Escalating Resilience as well is really good against this team, so you can kind of have lasting power in the fights. Even Inhibitor being thrown in for some extra survivability. But as we saw, survivability was nothing Sanya, I feel like, could itemize for when Abrahams were specifically countering him with everything they picked up and a lot of the heroes that they had too.
Yeah, really, really good performances here. I do wonder how this is going to impact drafts. Like I said, Lash looking fantastic. Taz on holiday looking like a problem as well. So that's going to make things really, really interesting. But yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say in terms of this stat sheet. We have our MVP next.
who it's gonna be.
we just go on pause here. Yeah, I would imagine that you probably picked. If I had to guess, I would imagine Taz. I think that's like the obvious pick. I mean, even the game gave him the MVP. But there we go. The Curry's player of the match is indeed Taz. Got the cowboy hat, you've got the revolver, but really, it's what's in those barrels. I think it's just where some of the magic came.
I think he like only missed one lasso that we caught on stream, and that was like right after you said something about him too. So we kind of like commentator cursed him, but like just all these lassos, being able to be so consistent is so important for any holiday player. But also like great use of the barrels, great use of the jump pads as well. Using Veil Walker extremely well to catch empty dreams here, but also like the time he gets him around a corner, so he has to use like double Dust Devil to get away, and then just throws a barrel on the exact location he uses to come out. Like Tass was killing it, man, and this is. I don't know if it's ban worthy necessarily going to the next matchup against Buff and Drawers, but it's something you're gonna have to respect.
Yeah, totally. Especially as it was a top 3 for Abraham, so it does definitely show you that they value this really highly, and I mean you can certainly see why. So it's gonna be very, very fun to see how that plays out. But yeah, phenomenal performance. Really seeing this just excellent mobility and comfort there. The lassos, like you say, time and again, proving to be just hellish to deal with, especially for empty dreams. Typically, you think Mirage is amazing because he's so hard to lock down. Like, you know, he just double tornado away and you're fine. But that wasn't the case here. You know, Taz had the answer.
He had the answer and he had everything going for him. Just like you guys at home who didn't know, Intel Gamer Days is now taking place from now up until September 13th, where you guys can type !IGD in the chat and you can pick up some games, Tomb Raider, Legacy of Atlantis, and Star Wars Galactic Racer with any purchase of a qualifying Intel product. So make sure you guys check this out and check out all the deals Intel has for you during these Gamer Days up till September 13th. And you know what? I think I might need to play these games. I was a big pod racer guy back in the day. I think it was on the N64, so I'm always about this Galactic Racer type game.
Yeah, and I mean Lara Croft.
And you look good in a Lara Croft cosplay, so it's like perfect.
I mean, it's cool, man. If you were there at the beginning too, like you've just seen the slow addition of more and more polygons there for Lara Croft, looking very different than she used to. But yeah, very awesome to see Tomb Raider still a thing. Now I can only hope that Deadlock has as strong as of a legacy, but I'm confident. I'm confident, Jason.
If we were to do a skin in Deadlock from Tomb Raider,
it's gotta be Holiday.
What
right?
hero would get it?
It's gotta be Holiday, right?
Not Haze? Because you dual wield guns?
I don't know. Yeah, actually, that'd be such an interesting question for the community. We'll have to make some kind of a poll.
You know what? We can do that for chat. So we have to head to a break while we get things ready to go for our next series. But you can let us know in chat, who do you think would make the perfect skin or the hero for the skin of Tomb Raider for Lara Croft? Let us know your answers in chat, and we'll be back here with our best of 3 winners match in the EU Deadlock Night Shift.
Bitkus. 1-0. Luego Buff Enjoyers contra... Oh, maldita sea. Se los chingaron. Oh shit. Dun, 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 dun. What the fuck is this? Ay, qué hueva.